Hi guys, welcome back to the Non-Immigrant Student Podcast. If my voice is low, just know that this week has been tough. It has been. I think I've been complaining about that a lot these days. But let's not start today's episode with any bad energy. Amen. So yeah, how have you been? How's your week been? How has this week been for me? It has just been up and down. My last weekend was so useless, and I think it's because I had like a lot of tests leading up to that weekend. So when the weekend came, I was like, you know what, darn this, I'm not doing this. I'm going to be as unproductive as it gets. And you know how, I'm sure if you're a student here as well, studying abroad, you understand what I mean by how every time I'm like, you know what, I've tried, I'm going to watch a movie today. And when I look back, what did I try? Nothing. It's like the movie was even the only real work that I did, that I focused on for that long. So, which is unfortunate. And I'm late to the party, but I just started watching Breaking Bad. And I like to, when I watch movies, although these days I'm making them much of a chore than a leisure activity, I'm always looking out for the underdogs, you know, like, I feel like Walter White's wife, you know, like, I feel like I don't think she's given enough accolades. You know how people like us, we go back and we check the whole cast and crew, you know, who worked on this, who was the director, who was the mastermind behind this. I'm like, yes, I give Walter White his crown. I give Jesse Pinkman his crown. But like his wife, I'm like, how did she just like become part of the whole, you know, thing? And it was just so effortless. But oh well, that's just one of the things that has kept me happy this week, apart from classes and assignments. And another thing that made me unhappy this week actually was so one of my favorite classes out of the 7 classes, I'm taking 7 courses, which I know is like a suicide mission. I know that. I know I'm not like I'm trying to die or anything, but maybe I'm trying to die on the line, but okay, never mind. Let's just drop that joke. But yeah, So one of my favorite classes out of these 7 classes, I got the test score today and I had 15.25 over 25. And of course, I'm not happy. I'm actually not happy. I have to say it. I have to admit it. And whatever, contrary to your popular belief, to you might be, oh, it's just over 10. I mean, if it was in Nigeria, that would be fine. But remember, I tweeted this, that this exam was 3 hours. They added extra 30 minutes. And my exam is submitted by itself. But like, when I saw, of course, I was also expecting it, but I didn't think I would get below 20. You know, I was overthinking a lot of the calculations. But when I got it, I was like, oh my shit. You know, like, what more can I do? I thought I prepared, even though there's a part of me that feels I didn't prepare as enough. I prepared for the first. I'm sure everything is just so messed up and I'm just so tired. Every single day of the past week, I've thought of quitting. And when I mean quitting, not obviously dropping out of school, but just calling my parents and saying, I'm no longer fighting for A's. Please just allow me get whatever grades I need to get, please. Like, I also think about it, if I was doing this, if I had no extra, what would, my parents were only motivation. Of course, me too, I want to get good grades, I want to do well, I want to really understand what I'm being taught, you know. But like, every single day I feel like giving up, and I'm like, you know what, I don't care anymore. I'm not going to care. I had a test I had a quiz this morning, and yesterday night I slept off. When I woke up this morning, I almost didn't read again out of anger, and I'm like, no, I'm hurting myself, and I still try to read. And at the end of the day, out of 10 questions, I only got 6 correct. So you can hear how small these things sound, but how big they are. It's so annoying because like in my school, A+ starts from 97 to 100. A is 93 to 96. A- is 90 to 93. So in all this, I'm just trying to fight to at least cross over to 90 because it's 4 units, 3 units. You know what? It's a whole lot. Please just be praying for me. That's all I can tell you. I can't even believe I opened this episode with such rants, but guys, I've almost, if you're really in my shoes, like you, if you're here, I feel like I'm talking to somebody. I feel like somebody feels my pain, but it's okay. I'm laughing now, but today I think I shed a few tears, you know, when I saw, I was like, how much more can I try? What else, you know, can I be doing? You know, it's very frustrating, but so I went to office hours today and I spoke to the lecturer, even though he said like whatever came out in the midterms won't be on their final exam, but I just really wanted to understand it because I actually really enjoyed learning about operations and class. So it taught me, of course. And even the other class I didn't really like about statistics, data analytics, I had 90 over 100 in that exam and I think I did better on that one. And I was even above like the average mean of the class. So that's the average mean. I was above the average score of the class, of course I felt good, but this one I was below the average. So, oh well. But I think I've said this. If I had a friend tell me that if she swears, she will swear by office hours. So I've tried to attend office hours and they've always been a blessing to my life. So that's just a pro tip. If you have not been, especially if you're schooling in the US, please try and attend your office hours. I think it's very, very helpful. Okay, so as the title implies, I will be sharing my COVID-19 experience. Even though I feel like there's not much gist to it because my COVID experience was a joke. Even when I think about it, I'm like, what even really happened? You know, I still can't remember it. And I decided, since I talked about it in the last released episode with Pearl, if you guys haven't watched, oh my God, if you guys haven't listened to that episode yet, like, why are you here? Why are you on this episode? Like, pause, go back to the other one. Everyone seemed to enjoy it, and I'm so grateful for that. And shout out to all of you who still come back here to listen. I know it's not easy to listen to podcasts, trust me. I know. But I'm trying so hard to be your favorite podcaster, you know, and really be expressive but it's fine. If you listen to I Said What I Said and FK and Jola are your current favorite podcasters, that's fine. Podcast hosts. Don't worry. I don't strive to be your best. If you already listen to them, I can be your second best because I enjoy listening to them as well. But yeah, so and I also shout out to Rotachi as well. I told her that she should please also that she might share her experiences with COVID because she was apparently asymptomatic. I was symptomatic very much, and I also gave COVID to Pearl, which I would jump into very soon. So yeah, and I was part of my rant. I'm sorry guys, I'm not done ranting about how hard it is to school here. I've been thinking about how was I coping when I was young. So as most of you know, I attended Creighton University. I studied chemical engineering for 5 years, and I was always involved in something or the other. I've really never felt like dying or quitting the way I've felt since I've come to the US, honestly speaking. And I was talking to a friend like 2 nights ago. And he mentioned how, maybe I'm trying to do it on my own. Maybe I should talk to God. But in my mind, I've been like, God knows I'm out here, like, wilding. I'm out here, when I mean wild, like, wilding in the hard work. I'm out here, like, doing everything I can. Hustling. The way I hustle for my academics here, and is like... So I'm like, isn't he seeing me? But I now realize that, how we go about our lives thinking that, every day, I'm talking to God, but I think there's more. I think there's a place of waiting. I think there's a place of really seeking him out, and I miss doing that. And I keep telling myself it's because of my books I've not had time for that. I don't know if that's a lie or if it's true, because I still have time for my Twitter and my Instagram. And I keep going back there because it's easier to go there than do my assignments. It's easier to go there than read some stupid paper. Like as I speak to you right now, I have a class tomorrow at 8:40 a.m. till 12, and I have 2 cases to read, and I have a presentation in that class. But does it mean I'll put this podcast on hold? No, I have to upload tomorrow. I already promised you guys. And that's what I do. I always put it out there before I deliver, because if I don't, I'll keep postponing. So, but thank you guys so much. I calculated how many downloads I have. I have 630 downloads. Every time I see it, I just want to shed tears. I'm like, for someone who was like, I was paralyzed in starting this thing finally, and I'm just so happy. I'm really so happy that it has gone this far, and I don't know how else to express myself, but thanks a lot for listening, and thanks for sharing, thanks for retweeting and all that good stuff. And when I checked some of the analytics, I saw I have a listener from Sweden. I'm like, who there? Like, can we meet? You guys are not even sending me emails. Like, I'm always checking. Has anyone sent me any email? At least just to say hello. No one has sent me an email. Oh my God. But yeah, it's fine. But if you ever think of me, or you really just, like, I want, like, if you're just feeling the gist and you just want to, like, tweet at me, reply me, email, please, my email is open, the non-immigrant@gmail.com. You can also find it on Instagram, find me on Twitter, and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I guess we should jump right into the gist. Today I planned that this would be a very short episode because I don't think the gist is much, but it might be much, who knows. Okay, so let me try and recount my COVID-19 experience. So, you know me now. I used to tell myself that, Tolu, see, you're the exception to every rule. I've heard they say it in Yoruba. I want to be able to learn how to speak this Yoruba well. Okay. how do you, when you want to say yimu in a very Yoruba way, it's like, I beg, nothing can happen to me. And my mom knows I can be like this. So before I came to the US in November, my mom had already started pumping me with zinc. She was like, you this girl, I know that when you go now, you'll be saying you cannot catch this thing. That in fact, so every day she will come, you know, it was lockdown now, we're all stuck in the house, our parents. She bought the whole house, and my mom too. She's one of the dean of Worcester universities. Even this vaccine that's come out now, she keeps preaching to me that I should not take it. I should wait. That's how she sent me a video today about some doctors and some, you know, physicians who are in Europe, that these vaccine skeptics that, you know, keep like raising alarmism. There's something in New York Times called, I think it's vaccine alarmism. They keep raising, you know, fear in hearts of people saying, oh, this vaccine is not good, this vaccine is not good. Although, yes, it's rumored that AstraZeneca vaccine has side effects of blood clots, but they say it like it's not supposed to happen. Like, it's known all over the world, at least, that all vaccines come with side effects, at least most. So, yes, it might be bad, but they should not make it look like, oh, they're like the vaccines are there to kill you, you know what, whatever. So I'm still like, should I just take this vaccine and not care about what my mom says? You know, like, why is she so pained about it? And before I came here, I had taken note of vaccines. I'm currently taking my HPV doses as well. So maybe she's just scared that they might mix the wrong way, because there's some people who actually take vaccines and they can't have babies anymore. She keeps reminding me of that story, but it's not my portion in Jesus' name. So yeah, so before I came to the US, she bought me zinc. So I was taking zinc for 50 milligrams and 20 milligrams. I was also taking vitamin D3 with 1000 IU. So I have all my medication in front of me that I brought to the US. I also have this 4000 naira cough syrup that I bought from Health Plus, Bronco Stop cough syrup, Thyme herb. I also have black seed oil here. So I used to take black seed oil. My sister from the UK, when she came back to Nigeria, she brought this for us because they said that is a miracle drug or so. Black seed oil, it heals everything or something like that. I don't know, I have to check that out. And I was also taking vitamin C of 1000 milligrams. So I had been on all these tablets since like April of 2020. You know, my mom just kept trying to pump my immune system just in case when I come here, because of how bad this COVID was. In fact, there were some discussions of me not coming to the US because there's COVID. I'm like, I beg, see, COVID is the least of my worries right now. I just need to get visa to leave this country. That's how I was feeling back then. Do you get, like, no, like COVID was just, it had always been the least of my worries. That's how I just lived my life, you know, like, even if I had it, I can't die, you know, I'm so full of purpose. How can COVID come and take me? Oh well. And that time I remember every time I was saying it, Anthony Fauci would keep talking. My father would tell me, Tolu, do you know Fauci? Fauci went to Cornell. I said, yes, sir, I know. That he's really saying a lot of things about. I said, yes, he's okay. Nothing can happen to me. And that's how I made it sure I'm not going to be watching CNN again. Nobody can scare me. What is all this? So eventually I got to the US and I was fine, everything. Even when I got here, this is just a secret between me and you. Please don't go and tell somebody outside. I broke my quarantine sha. I was supposed to stay indoors for like 14 days when I got here, but I left at day 12. And I was like, what is it? Who did I kill? What? Did I take COVID test from Nigeria? Please, I was negative. I cannot be positive. I was so strong-headed, or I am so strong-headed. I don't know, but oh well. So, fast forward, so I traveled. I was supposed to go to California, actually. That was my whole Christmas. I was supposed to go and stay with one of my uncles in Los Angeles, in California. French Valley, somewhere between San Diego and Los Angeles, actually. So, but the cases started rising in California as well. And my uncle called and was like, he's sorry, he doesn't think I should come. And he was actually the one who booked my flight. So, of course, when, like, I cannot force myself to their house. He was the one who invited me and also to put the invite on hold, because all my plan was to go to Austin, Texas to stay with another family friend that I am close to. So when I left here on Christmas Day, I arrived Texas same day, Christmas Day, and then everything was going on well, you know, and we're all happy, we're always going out, because Austin, Texas is actually a smaller city. So I don't know, but for some reason, things were on the low. What's wrong with me? Things were on the low. So sorry. I think another thing I do to keep myself happy, you know, when school gets crazy, apart from watching movies or being on social media, I found out that I enjoy dancing. Now, who would have known? Although back at home during lockdown, there are a few times I danced with my sisters, and I really miss my sisters too. But now, when I just see myself dance, I'm like, wow, is this you? Is this you, Tolu? So whatever. So when I got to Austin, Texas, everything was okay. Even the people I was going to stay with, my family friends, they were very chill. They were even like, none of them had that fear of COVID, because it's like, we've all been here. Even if it comes, we know we can't die. Honestly. So hashtag never die gang. Shout out to all the CCI people. Although I'm an online church member. Yeah, so and that was how I just refused to live my life in fear. You get about COVID. So, but mind you, my immune system at this point is still very strong. I believe at this point, because I'd been taking all this vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, and all of that. Even here, there's this joke about this black seed oil. So my mom didn't tell me apparently that black seed oil, I told you it's like a miracle seed and all. So my mom called me one day in the US that how, because I also used to take supplements, well woman, I was always like, I'm always trying to live a whole life. But I'll get to that part in the next episode where I talk about building a routine and a healthy lifestyle, how I try my best. My mom called and I was like, are you still taking that black seed oil? I said, yes. She said, how often do you take it? I'm like, what? You said I should be taking once every day now. Even though on the body of the tablet, it says you should take it like twice a day. I said, that, in Nigeria, we call it drugs, even though here I've tried to train myself to call it medication. She was like, those drugs make people fertile. She said it with so much caution, like it's a secret she had been planning to tell me. She now said, you're getting older now, so I feel like I can tell you these things. I said, okay. So, like, I didn't even know how to react. I'm sorry, like, it might not be funny to you, but it was funny to me. Like, she said it like, I'm warning you now. It makes you fertile. Don't go and do the one. Don't go and do the one that you will embarrass me. But oh well. Poor woman. Oh my God. So yeah, but yeah, we good. We thank God for fertile drugs. But yeah, so but either way, after she told me too, I stopped taking it. I was like, why is this woman making me scared like this? Well, but now I think I'll go back to taking it. So that aside, so most of you know, Pearl she schools in the University of Austin, Texas. So I told my family friends that, I have a friend who's also here in Austin. She lives downtown. I'd like to spend some time with her. So I left their place. I was supposed to spend the whole winter break with them. How generous and benevolent of my family friends, So, I went to stay with Pearl. I left their house January 8th. That was, I think, a Thursday or a Friday or so. And then we went out. So every day on Friday, we were like, Pearl, let's go out. We had so many plans to go to so many places, but there was not just time. I think I was also doing some job applications. Pearl was also busy with some things. So eventually we went out on Thursday. Like I told you, there's a part of me that's strong-headed. So when we went out, Pearl told me that I shouldn't eat in the bus. I was like, what do you mean I shouldn't eat in the bus? That there are rules here. So that's how Pearl is. But my brain doesn't think like that. I want you to come. I want you to confront me before I admit that I'm doing something wrong. So it's like, you didn't put any placard here that says don't eat. Even if, yes, it might be silent law, but if you did not put it, it's not a sin. I didn't break any law. Do you get? So after when I thought I got COVID, I kept saying, hey, and Pearl told me not to eat. Maybe I picked, I kept blaming everything. But Pearl keeps telling me that, COVID experts say that you start feeling I started feeling symptoms on Sunday. So that means I had COVID 2 days ago. I was like, I've never heard that before. But apparently, I think what happened was I came on my period. In fact, I was supposed to start seeing my cycle on the 5th of January, but it delayed. I was like, when is this thing coming now? So, and usually the last sickness I had before I left Nigeria was actually malaria. I remember there's nothing my parents did not do for this COVID. And I hated it so much because I just felt like, why are you people believing everything from WhatsApp? Do you know, my father has a farm. He went to his farm to go and get dogoyaro leaves. They put it on fire and boiled it for all of us to drink. I was just angry because the way they won't force you to do it, as if you don't do it, you're going to catch the COVID in your room. I'm like, why? Do you get? So we would even be drinking water, lemon, ginger. They will put everything on the fire. And my mom knows I'm always the child that will ask, so why? Why? I was always just asking why. So eventually, I drank that dogoyaro out of anger. And we all drank. You must drink a full glass. They will even blend ginger, turmeric, all those nonsense. Just to say that we should not have COVID. And then, so when I got to Pearl's, so I was saying my cycle, I didn't see my cycle, right? So on Sunday, I went to Pearl's house. I arrived Pearl's house Thursday night or Friday. On Sunday, after we went to the park, we went to the museum. You see all these pictures on Instagram. That's why I have an Instagram page to try to be the face of this podcast, since I don't have any plans to start a YouTube soon. So, Pearl was telling me that Tolu, I sure this thing is not COVID. I woke up on Sunday. I was like, Pearl, my back is paining me. Even the day we're cooking, we even had a meeting together for Master's Prep, because there's this non-profit scholarship study abroad group we had a meeting that day. All of them knew that I was sick, because I couldn't, I was just behaving weak. But I just told myself, it's malaria. Anytime I'm about to come on my period, this is how my body used to do. So I thought that's what it was. On Sunday, I woke up in the middle of the night, 5 a.m. My back was paining me here. I was like, my back, and I even want to say thank you specially, because I kept thinking, if it was me and I was already, I'm very sure in her mind, she already was suspecting I had COVID, but yet she did not push me out of her house. I was like, if it's me, because me, I have little tolerance for things, although I'm still a kind person, but I was just like, if it was me and my friend had COVID and we're still in the same, what would I have done? But yet, she still made tea for me. She still allowed me to use her bathroom. She still, so in my mind, I just keep thinking, this is what makes me keep saying, God, there are really good people in this world. I want to be like them. I think I'm good, but no. If not that, I'm just really trying to make heaven. If I really want to show myself, who am I? Not that, please, don't take me too seriously, but you get, so I just want to say thank you again, Pearl, because I remember that night we were trying to call Texas Health. We're trying to look for places I could go to do my COVID test, how I could book an Uber and go, but none of those things were forthcoming. They weren't picking our calls. So she was like, and Pearl, she's like the positive kind, although I know she panics more than I panic. I don't panic easily. But Pearl was like, don't worry, it's not COVID. Maybe it's just your period. I'm very sure she was trying to comfort herself that it wasn't COVID. Well, oh well. So Monday, this is now 10th of January. I couldn't do anything. I remember eating. So Pearl I think she made bagels and turkey bacon. Yes, I remember eating that from the bed and lying down because I couldn't still stand up. Those were the worst of my symptoms, if I remember correctly. That I'm just trying to relive the experience. And so I went, I told her, I left on Monday. I went back to my family friend's house where I was staying in Texas. And I told them that, I think I have COVID. I was okay. So, it was just the way malaria is, that it comes around 4 p.m. and then it stays till sometime in the morning. Then it goes, then it comes back again in the evening. So I went back to their house in the afternoon or so, early evening. And I was still okay. So I told her that I was feeling weak. I told my auntie I was feeling weak, that I think I need to go and do a test. So I booked a test at CVS Pharmacy, and I couldn't get a date till the next day, Tuesday. At this time, so I was also checking up with Pearl. Pearl, how are you? Is your body hot now? What's going on and all that. So, to cut the long story short, what else happened in between that time? I think I was telling you guys of how I ate on the bus and how Pearl kept warning me that I should not do this, I should not do this, but I did not listen to her. So I just kept thinking, hey, Tolu, have you gone to go by yourself? But I was so sure that it was my period, because even back at home, anytime, stress-induced malaria, that kind of stress-induced malaria where you haven't rested, because since I had been traveling October, November, December, I was in school, I had no break. Immediately I finished, I just traveled, I was just always on the move since the half part of 2020. So Pearl kept telling me that maybe you're just stressed, it's just malaria. So on Tuesday when I got my test and it was positive, I even thought I would feel that fear that, oh my God, that COVID fear that was very, you could feel the pang. That time in the air in 2020, where if someone told you they had COVID, you'd be afraid for their life. So when it came out, I was like, I have COVID. Wow. Is this it? Wow. It was still a joke to me. I don't know why I didn't even take it seriously. I didn't even know. I was like, I'm not going to tell my parents. I beg. I don't want anybody to stress me or make me feel scared. But eventually I told my auntie. So I was already staying in a room all by myself. I'm going to post these pictures. You probably see them on Instagram by the time this episode drops. So please follow our Instagram, and all that. I'll even post you videos and pictures of, I take pictures of you. My auntie will bring food for me. She'll set it up. I'm like, are you sure this COVID will not extend it? Well, oh well. So it was good while it lasted. In short, by 15th of January, most of my symptoms were gone. I was no longer having, and another thing why I say my COVID wasn't serious, because it was just cough and catarrh. Really, it was I think I've even had worse malarias than this COVID. It was not a big deal to me. I would just wake up. I think, and in my COVID period, I think my worst symptom was fatigue. So I felt so useless to myself. I remember waking up on Tuesday, the Tuesday next week. I had a dream that I missed an exam or something, like I had missed an exam, and I woke up very tense, and I went, so then before my test had come back, I went to the kitchen. So, but my auntie would just make sure I wore gloves and masks. Even her daughter came to sleep with me in the room. So sometimes she would come and sleep with me in the room, a 3-year-old girl. So, but that day, my test hadn't come back. I'm still talking of Monday night. So I had to tell the girl to face the other side, and I faced the other way so that we wouldn't breathe into each other's noses. So I'm happy I did that. So, and thank God, funny enough, none of them had COVID. And so Pearl was like, where did you get it from? Maybe you got it from them. The other family was like, maybe you got it from Pearl. Nobody could tell who I got it from. So that's why I believe it's because my immunity dropped that I had that I had COVID. So this might not be, there's no medical backing for this, but I know that back when I was in Nigeria, when I was on my period, I would have malaria. So my immunity would drop. And I think that's what happened. So I just caught what was in the air. My immunity dropped. And then apparently my cycle came the Monday or the Tuesday after my result was positive. So I knew, this was why. I see now. Although this is me being in Fauci mode, even though like I said, I don't think I got it from anywhere. I think my immunity just dropped and I caught it. But yeah, to cut the long story short, so by 15th of January, my symptoms were gone. I was not really coughing anymore. Anything that was happening was just mild. I didn't even lose my taste. Every day I'll be drinking stuff. I'll be smelling before I eat to check that, I didn't lose any of those things. So I think that's why my family thought it was a joke. My mom was even saying, maybe they did not test it well. Our God is good. Our God is faithful, and all that. But yes, of course, God is good. God is. I don't take it for a joke. When I would tell people, like, you mean you had COVID, and you were like, okay. In my COVID, I watched Jane the Virgin season 1 to 5. Okay, no, I lied. I actually skipped. I think I skipped season 3 and 4. But like, I finished watching the other ones wholeheartedly. I watched All American. I watched a lot of other series. I even watched. There's this Indian matchmaking series on Netflix that my auntie recommended, and there's nothing I did not watch in that lockdown, in that isolation period. So because my results shows that I caught it on the 12th of January, so I had to stay in isolation for another 10 days to January 22nd. So it was a long ride. At least I tried to do it to be productive. Then I even kept telling myself, Tolu, this is the best time to start your podcast. This is your best time. But there was just this inertia. It's like I couldn't move. I didn't just know how to overcome the fear of starting. But look at me now. So, and I'm really grateful for that. I couldn't leave the room, but sometimes you will see my auntie and her husband and her children, they will come try to talk to me from the door. And I'm so grateful that I was with them, because if I was alone, I might start having suicide mission. I'll try not to drag Pearl here, but there's some people that were writing letters to their loved ones just in case anything happens, and I wasn't even in that headspace. But I'm just grateful that I was around people who could cook, who could cook for me and bring me food. Sometimes she would try to make breakfast and lunch for me, since I'm used to taking biscuit and tea. So she asked me, what would you like to eat now that you're sick? I was like, okay, for breakfast, I'd like to take biscuit and tea. So she bought me lemon tea. She bought me lime. They moved like a part of the kitchen to my room. I had a table so I could make what, they would bring hot water for me. Then she would bring watermelon. There was just everything I wanted when I wanted it. Then they had a friend who had COVID. So he had some other immunity drugs, like immune system drugs that they made me take, some very funny things. I refused to take it because I was like, what is this? They also gave me Tylenol. So I didn't have most of my drugs with me in Texas. So I had to use what they had although I had my vitamin C and my zinc with me and all that. But so like they say, when you get COVID, you treat the symptoms. There's nothing else to treat apart from the cough, the catarrh. And I didn't have, one night I woke up with chest pain. I say, hey, maybe now the COVID has actually come. So I sent a text to my auntie that I think my chest is paining me. But like after some time it went, and I apologized for the false alarm, because I was like, because they kept telling me that if anything happens, tell us. So some people just die, It was funny, but now it's no longer funny. But I remember tweeting about it when I tested negative eventually, and I could come out, and apparently people even came to see me, I think a day or so after I tested negative. I'll put all these pictures on Instagram. Hopefully it can take more. There might be more than 10, but I'll try to put them on Instagram. The drugs I took, the food, the way my auntie always brought food upstairs for me, so it's, when I relive the experience, I'm like, it's not exactly as eventful, but I'm happy it wasn't eventful, because if it was worse, it would be a different story. Even my mom just kept saying I will not die. I'm like, I'm not going to die, for Christ's sake. Like, please, I can't die. It's just COVID. Like, that's how I kept feeling, Sha. But like, I think I was saying, I don't know if I finished saying when I had that dream, because of how tired I was. I remember then I was even still trying to talk to the career services in my school. So I was having different CV review sessions with them. I would have to keep apologizing to them for not turning on my video, because I actually looked like I needed help, actually. Even though I would have my back. But if you hear me talk to you, like, when I spoke, you would know that, oh, this girl is sick. Like, she's going through something. And here, they won't really ask you, like, what's the problem? But you would know that I was sick, like, especially those first few days, because I couldn't talk well. So I would always, because of how I couldn't do anything, I always kept feeling useless, because I'm always on the move. I'm like, why am I, like, I felt guilty for resting. So eventually I spoke to someone and I was like, okay, you need to rest. You need to allow yourself rest. Don't feel guilty. It's not like you're not supposed to be reading now, I think it's just because I hadn't started podcast yet. So I felt like I should be doing something at that moment. But yes, that's basically all my COVID gist. There's nothing much there. But like, I also asked Pearl for her experience, because we were both symptomatic. So I would also put it on Instagram. Go check it out. She even, apparently she remembers like everything that happened to her daily. From after 15th, when I stopped feeling the symptoms, all I remember doing was watching movies. I kept telling myself, your body is resting. And I put on so much weight within that time. And even though I'll tell myself, today I'll do my dance workout, I never did it. Until after that, I started shedding some of the weight, and I started sitting. So in the room I was in my auntie's house, the guest room I was in, my window faced the sun. So anytime the sun came out, because it's sunnier in Texas, I would go and sit by the window and allow the sun, to come into my body. Because apparently before I left Ithaca, I went to see the doctor because I was always feeling weak, and she said that I didn't have enough vitamin D in my body. Here is really cold and dark and all that. But now spring is coming, the sun is coming out more. So, but I'm still taking my vitamin D pills. I'm still taking my zinc pills. I'm still taking my selenium pills, my black seed fertile pills. And I'm still taking, in fact, the doctor even put me on vitamin D2 to try to see. So I'm still taking everything. I'm making sure my immune system still stays, very high. And apparently right now I'm immune till April 12th, because my school does this COVID surveillance testing like every week. Once a week for graduate students and twice a week for undergraduates. But because I informed them that I was positive, I was once positive and tested negative. So I was exempt from the surveillance testing process till April 12th, which is exactly 4 months since I tested positive. So, and that's what they told me in Texas when they were doing the COVID tracing with me and Pearl. They were like, okay, you'll be immune for another 4 to 5 months. But I think my school is not trying to take any chances. So that's why I'm not exactly in a hurry to get the vaccine, but I'm like, now, since I'm one of the first people who can get it because I work on campus and in person, why shouldn't I get it? Please, can someone like ring my mom and let her know that I will live and not die? I will not have side effects, because I don't know. Although people say they have side effects of feeling tired, feeling worn out, I think that makes a lot of sense, because even when I had COVID, like I said, I was tired to stupor. So that was like my worst symptom, fatigue. Pearl even talks about how her eyes were paining her. I'm like, I didn't have that one. Even I think on Twitter to FK, Abudu mentioned she had eye pains. Even Dima Ume, also a YouTuber I'm sure a lot of Nigerians follow, she talked about her eyes paining her. I was really on chill and cruise with this COVID after the first few days. So, but however, I'm still on my supplement. I don't think anyone can possibly catch COVID anymore, although that's the COVIDiot thing to say. But of course, everyone should still mask up, stay 6 feet and all that social distancing and good stuff. I still do it. Sometimes they even say that wearing 2 masks or 3 masks, like as you increase the masks you wear, you also increase you lessen the chances of catching COVID. So like, try to do all you can that you should be doing. Or for people like me, I'm trying to keep my immune system as immune as possible. So whatever measures you can take, please do, so that you're not one of the people who will not, because it felt like a lot of people in Nigeria that I knew started catching it after the COVID gist had already died down. So I was like, what's happening? Do you get to? But yeah, there's no stigma involved. There's no big deal. I don't even feel cool. I don't feel like I'm really someone who had COVID, because I feel like my story is not sweet to tell. Do you get me? People who really had it. That I didn't fear for my life or anything. So that's why it was still a joke to me. But, oh well, that's my COVID story. And I'm also going to be sharing someone's story, Rotachi. So Rotachi, apparently she was asymptomatic. That's people who do not show symptoms, but they test positive. Like what I've been learning in statistics, I think they call it false positive. I'll be true negative. No, false, whatever. It's like it's not showing that they have it, but yet they came out with a positive test. So something like that. So I brought her onto the show to be like, I told her, oh, Rotachi, please, do you mind recording your experience for my listeners and, just to inform them and all that. Apparently they even gave Rotachi palliatives now. Nigerians call it palliatives, but I don't know what else we should call it. But they gave her some goody stuff, just because she tested positive, which was really good for her. So I would you would listen to her now in a few minutes before I'll come back to say goodbye. Thanks, guys.
Hi, guys. My name is Rotachi Nlekwuwa. I'm a graduate student in the Department of Biomedical Sciences in Creighton University, Omaha, Nebraska. It's nice to meet all of you. So sometime in February, I realized that I had COVID, like towards the ending of January, beginning of February. So my school had this compulsory COVID testing that all students had to do. So I did it now, no harm, no foul. I didn't think, of course, no one would think that they will come down with, they will test positive for COVID. So I did it on a Saturday, and by 4 a.m. on this Sunday, the next day, I got a text that my result was ready. Mind you, the notice stated that the results will be ready within 72 hours. So when I saw my result was ready, I was like, why is it ready this early? And I opened it, and the next thing, in bold, capital letters, I saw, you have tested positive. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. I was just like, I couldn't even believe. When something happens and you're just like, are they sure? Are they sure it's not a false positive? So I called my mom. They were just finishing from service in Nigeria and everything. And when I was telling her, she was like, what was the result? And I told her I tested positive, and her whole demeanor just changed. So thankfully, I was asymptomatic. I normally have nasal issues, nasal allergies and all. So I was having catarrh that period, and then whenever I woke up, my mouth was kind of dry. So I just felt like it was in the thick of winter. So I didn't really see it as winter. I just felt like, probably my allergies are acting up, and then we're in winter, so the weather is dry and cold. So apparently those are the two remotely related symptoms I had during the whole period. So I had to stay indoors for 10 days. It was not easy at all. I had to stay indoors for 10 days. I didn't really have a lot of things, water, different things, groceries and all. So I had to order. Yeah, my auntie helped, and she ordered food for me. And then my uncle too helped with some things. So I was just locked up. The things that I ordered ginger, lemon, tea, and of course I brought my aponiki and my robe from Nigeria when I was coming. So every night what I did, I drank a cup of ginger and a squeezed lemon. Basically I put the ginger in the kettle. I chopped up the ginger, put it in the kettle so that the essence of the ginger would diffuse into the water. So then I used the water, and then I squeezed lemon into it. It was terrible, to be very honest, because the taste and everything. But yeah, it's what I had to do. So I did this every day. Then I got this cold medicine. The name is Benadryl. So Benadryl, I was taking Benadryl, and one thing, the side effects of Benadryl is drowsiness. It's like a sleeping drug, to be very honest, because after taking it, I will sleep for 12 hours straight. So yeah, I was taking Benadryl just to stop, because Benadryl helps to dry up the fluids, so just to dry up the catarrh and everything. And then I started doing steaming, so basically putting rub. I initially started with aboniki, but we all know, okay, not everybody will know this, but aboniki is this balm that is very strong. So I had to use the first time I tried it, I almost died. I'm exaggerating, but then it wasn't a funny experience. So I poured the water out and actually used rub, and it worked a lot. It helped me clear my nostrils and all of that, my sinuses. So the steaming is basically really, really steaming hot water. You put a bit of rub, and then you put your head you put the hot water inside a bucket or a basin or something, and then you cover your head with something that will trap the steam, so to keep the steam from leaving, basically. So that's basically what I was doing. So I soaked my head in steam for 10 to 15 minutes. The first time I did it was 10 minutes. Then subsequently I started doing it for 15 minutes. And then it just cleared my nostril. It just made me feel lighter, kind of when you feel refreshed after something. So those are the three things that I did. Number one, the hot water, ginger water with lemon. Number two, Benadryl. And number three, the steaming. I also had multivitamins I was taking prior to that, but I got more multivitamins. So along with that, I was taking multivitamins just to boost my immune system. The Benadryl, at some point I had to stop because I was really getting drowsy and I didn't really see its effect, basically apart from it making me so sleepy. So I had to stop at some point. And then, I didn't really get any symptoms. I didn't lose my sense of taste or smell and all of that. I didn't have any fevers, so I was good. 10 days later, a week later, I was already fine and everything. I really wanted to start, but I had to wait for the 10 days to be over. So 10 days later, I was cleared to resume in school by the health department of my school, so I resumed. I must also add that the overall health center in Omaha sent me palliatives, and it was crazy. He filled a whole trolley, and I had to give out half of it because there's some things that I didn't know what they were, and there's some things I just don't eat. So yeah, that's the story of how I got COVID, how I was majorly asymptomatic, and how I got cured from COVID. It was nice having you guys. Bye.
So guys, I hope you learned a thing or two from listening to Rotachi as well. You can see that the tips and tricks are the same. We all just treated the symptoms, and we kept taking our immune boosting drugs or medication. So that's it for this week. Thank you guys again for listening. I know at the beginning of this podcast, I said I'll try to keep to 30 minutes, but who was I kidding, right? Myself. I remember when I started this podcast too, I was like, since I can't write too long, people were complaining that my IG captions were too long. Oh yeah, now let me come and talk so that you can't tell me I'm talking too much, but apparently. And I also got the advice to try to make the episodes part 1 and part 2, but you know what? See, doing this is a sacrifice for myself. You know what? No more ranting. It's fine. But please just take me as I am. I really like to give all the whole gist and not leave any details out. Why? So yes. But, oh well. So I will be signing out now. Like I said, I told you guys I have a class to prepare for tomorrow. So I'll go do that now before I go to bed. I hope I didn't leave anything out. And guys, oh my God, no, I have to give you this gist. Okay, it's not really gist, but I applied for a babysitting job, guys. I'm doing all the things Chimamanda did in Americana. I remember before I left, I was like, I've had this book since 2017. I think it's 2015, because when I buy my books, I sign and put the date on it. I was like, you haven't still read it. Okay, this is going to be your manual. I've still not finished it. I wasn't trying to read it during my COVID isolation period, but oh well. I have a friend right now who is earning $250 per week from babysitting. I'm like, what am I doing? Please give me a babysitting job. What's there? In my 25 years, I took care of 2 babies, my 2 younger sisters. One is 15 now, one is 8. There's nothing I did not do apart from probably breastfeeding them. That's if we don't want to count the times when she mistook me for her mother. LOL. But oh well. yeah, so I was like, of course I can babysit. So I'm on this group me, Nigerian students, blah, blah, blah. So I sweat and I jumped at the opportunity. I even wish I knew how to make hair because they were like, can you make hair as well? I'm like, no. So I might start next week or not. And they were like, what's your rate? I'm like, rate, Kate? Me, I don't know. So I went to go ask my friend, what should I charge? So she sent me a link where I could check how much they pay per hour here. So I told them what I think my pay would be, and it was like, we'll get back to you, blah, blah, blah. And I was looking forward to doing it this weekend, but they moved it to next weekend. I don't know, I'm excited about it. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. I would like to do it. I mean, trust me, there's nothing I don't know how to do for a child. There's a 3-year-old, 7-year-old, and 11-year-old. I was also a teens teacher in church, so trust me, this is my forte. But oh well, that aside, anything to earn some extra good clean money. So yeah, so like I said, for as many of you who might be going through the struggled life with me in this in studying abroad as a non-immigrant student, man, I'm sending you hugs, love, hope, prayer, and like I said, I'll try to go back to God and really talk to him. It's also been a while, learn to depend on him, because I really like trying to do all this on my own. Even trying to reach out to friends, I thought I was being productive by trying to have study sessions, meet on Zoom. I have just been busy, but not effective. I've been not efficient, or how did they say it, So it takes a lot. It takes really a lot. And I hope to also record an episode on, motivating ourselves. Yes, there's something right now that's posted on my vision board, You will never always be motivated. You just have to stay disciplined, and discipline and consistency are traits and time management are some of my biggest weaknesses, honestly, for someone who loves to plan. But yeah, so that aside, I'm wishing you a very fruitful weekend, a fruitful week, a productive week. I pray that all your heart desires, everything that you put your hand to do will prosper, will work out for you. And a lot of my friends have been getting jobs in Nigeria. I'm like, God, please keep sharing these jobs, because I feel like if there's a job in Nigeria, I don't actually mind coming back. Yes, I think I can admit that and say it. But then I saw a picture on Instagram where a guy was holding another guy's shirt saying, don't you dare give in to the nostalgia to come back home. I'm like, okay, I heard you. But yeah, so it can be tough. And I'm just happy. Another thing too, sometimes I'm grateful for is that my coping mechanism is God, because I imagine that what if I used other things to fill my void, like very dangerous things. What if it was drugs or alcohol, or or what if any of those things became an addiction, or you took them in excess to be fast, they became your crutch. There's so many things I'm beginning to question, like what is right and wrong since I got here, but not to my detriment anyway. I just think about it. I think I even tweeted about it, like, so how come, in this situation, why, like, if I was someone who was okay with drinking, like, why won't I be okay with smoking as well? Like, what's stopping me, But then, like you said, when you have the Holy Spirit helps you not to gratify the desires of your flesh. So hopefully to stay that way. Amen. Yeah. So more gist. I have so many things to always gist about. So probably I'll catch you in the next episode. Please come back here next week, Friday. I promise you guys content every Friday, no matter what, I will. And I'll keep to my promise at least for every Friday in March before things get crazy again. So thank you guys for always listening. We can also get it to like 1,000 downloads before Monday, right? Right, guys? Please subscribe, share, and send me an email. I always look forward to sending you guys emails. Hopefully one day. Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you. And if you're also a student studying abroad, I'm rooting for you. I'm trusting God that all of us will do well, we'll all be successful, and at the end of the day, we'll all meet at the top. Thank you guys. See you in the next episode. Bye.